This year was the worst year of my life. I just felt as if it was so many things that happened this year that just weren't in my favor. And I don't expect everything to be in my favor because that would be foolish. But I certainly went through so much stuff. A lot of it was just straight up unexpected. It just really summed up how bad this year has been for me. This year has been the worst physically, mentally, and emotionally, and even spiritually, as far as all the adversity that was in front of me that I had to go through, as far as all the things that I promised myself that I wanted to do, all the stuff I strived to do, and I'll either fall short or not even be close to it. And also, it was just a lot of situations that I put myself in that I should have just at least took a step back and thought differently, but I just once again let emotions got the best of me so many times that it caused me to make a lot of bad decisions that later on would make me feel bad because it's just one of the cases when you just know better. You know what I'm saying? You know you do something bad, you just think to yourself, well, you know better than that. I call myself being in that cycle a lot of times. Speaking of this year, I've never felt as many bad moments or many bad days I've had until this year because it's just one of those cases when you think to yourself, you had 12 months to accomplish all the things that you wanted to do, and you barely accomplished anything. Now I understand it's way easier to be caught up in the negative side over the positive side. And while all the negative stuff's out of the way, the one thing you should be grateful for, I should be grateful for, is that I made it through another year. A lot of people haven't made it through another year, and that's just one thing that I just have to keep reminding myself because it could have been me, but I'm still here. So that's the one thing that I really gotta take note of. Without further ado, let's get into this video. I'm just going ahead and just get the negative side out the way before I get into the positive. One thing that I wanted to promise myself is that I wanted to be in the best shape of my life. Now, it started off well, like the first 3 months of the year, first 4 months, I'll say, everything looked promising. I had my normal checkup at the doctor, everything was fine. I ended up having my cholesterol was higher than it should for someone that's around my age, but it wasn't at the point where it's alarming, or it's not the point where it's just a major concern. It was just right. I was literally right at the required number it would be for it to be fine. So the doctor recommended me to eat certain things. They'll have me just lower it. It'll just really help me out in the long run. So I've been following that since then. Hopefully by the next checkup round, that number will be lower because we do want that number to be lower. As far as cholesterol, it was the LDL. I think the LDL is a bad one, and HDL is a good one. I could be wrong. Somebody fact check me, please. It's been a long time. And with that best shape of my life situation, it started off decent, and then from the, I'll say since like June on down, it's just been a huge roller coaster, bro. I end up gaining some weight back. I end up catching myself binge eating more often than I did. I end up making a lot of emotional decisions around food, and I was just ended up just putting myself in bad places. Now I have recovered since then. I'm not. I haven't been doing it for the past few months. I'm great for that. And for nowadays, every time that I think about doing something like that, I always think about how I would feel afterwards. Every time I got finished binging, I would always feel horrible. All the stuff that we normally don't think about day to day, whether in terms of basic stuff like walking, breathing, standing up, sitting down, bending over, all that stuff. When all that stuff becomes a chore or a hard task, that's when you know you're doing something wrong. So ever since then, I've been cool with that. Another thing I wanted to accomplish this year is to have this channel monetized, and I've been stuck around the 400 user out, either 430 to 435. I've been stuck there for months now, and I'll go sit here and blame the app because yes, A lot of stuff was my fault. I haven't been as consistent as I wanted to be, or I should be. I should say. I took a lot of minor breaks, a couple major breaks. So that is definitely a valid reason why I haven't done it yet. And it's just more, once again, just a lot of things that, well, a lot of times that I've really could have just did a lot better with that. So that was another thing. It's another thing that was negative about me this year was that signed off for me to work my third job this year alone. So I already signed off for employment to my next job. I already did all the paperwork and submission they want me to do. I'm just waiting on them to kind of give me my first day. They're supposed to hit me up. It's been almost a month now, so I just been sitting around just waiting on that time so I can finally be more productive as I want to be again. The first job, I already made videos about it, and the first job, it really drained me mentally, and it was so many problems with it. I was battling myself with the job because I was in this mindset of you need a job, or you need to be grateful that you have a job because a lot of people are struggling to get jobs. Even the people who did way better than you at school and they struggling, so you have a job, you need to stick to it no matter what. And it was just so bad until I reached my breaking point and I just had to leave because a lot of stuff was just out of my control. A lot of decisions was just it was bad, man. So that whole situation was there. Then the second job I had, I only was there for a few weeks, and I could do a whole story time about my experience over there. It was bad. It wasn't worse than the first one because I was there way longer, but over the second job, it was just I just went through a few things over there that I never thought I would go through until then, and I just left on my own and just never looked back, never came back for a few reasons. So that second job was just oh boy. And then the third one, obviously, I haven't started yet, so hopefully things will actually start turning around for your boy. With me making all the emotional decisions, I end up going back to a lot of the bad habits that I've worked myself out of. And now, as of today, I have worked myself back into the good habits that I made for myself. And so that's a great thing. That is a positive thing. Everyone knows how bad or how hard it is to shake off a one bad habit, let alone multiple bad habits. You know what I'm saying? So that's just one thing that I feel like that's good. I had to start over on my IG account because of some crazy foolishness that happened to me out of nowhere, and that whole situation is that just water under the bridge. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty much all the negative stuff that happened. I know it was a lot, so I'm still picturing it in, still living it here. You know what I'm saying? So that's all just the negative stuff that happened. I just want to brighten things up a little bit about the positive stuff. You know, I finally got a new phone, and speaking of new phones, my old phone as of today, it literally cannot even operate well at all. You can't even browse it for 10 seconds without it shutting off on its own. It could be high battery, it could be 100%, and it'll just shut off on its own. So thankfully, I did what I did at the right time. I finished catching up on the One Piece anime. Um, I finished that. It almost took me 2 years to do it, but I finally caught up on it. Just waiting on the weekly drops now. So that's also a great thing. Another great thing is that I started over on my TikTok account. I just created a new one because the old one I had, ever since TikTok officially came out of, the traction wasn't there, the engagement was just not what I wanted to be. So I just started over, and ever since then, I found a few things that I can able to connect with other people with. And my engagement over there has been way better since the first account. And that's always a good thing because we should always chase engagement rather than numbers, because there's a lot of people out here with millions of followers or millions of subscribers. You look at their videos, you look at their posts, people barely engage with it, and that's not a good thing at all. So a lot of people engage with my stuff lately, and that's also a good thing. So yeah. And one last positive thing I want to talk about is I feel like personally that next year will be the year that everything fully turns around for me. Because I'm just thinking about it like this. I went through so much bad stuff in 2025 for over half the year. Basically from, I'll say, May up until currently, it has been just bad stuff after bad stuff after bad stuff after bad stuff after bad stuff. I just don't think it could get worse than it could be next year. Like, there's no way that next year would just be a year of them doubling down the bad stuff I went through this year. I just don't think that's the case. I just think that this year was just about me learning, me dealing with self growth, me dealing with how to overcome bad things in your life, bad things that comes your way, where it's unfortunate. And next year is just when you finally start to finally see the strive. All the stuff that you've been waiting for, all the stuff you've been working for, all the stuff you've been hoping for and praying for, and this, that, and the third will just finally, slowly, and surely come to fruition. That's why I truly believe. I already made some goals for myself for next year that I want to accomplish, and I'm more dedicated than ever to follow up on them and actually achieve every last one of them. That's what I want to do. So yeah, man. This is the 2025 recap for myself. This will be my last long form content video of this year because I said I'm gonna think about adding different forms of content to this page, not just a random talk stuff. I want to add more things about myself on this channel. So be on the lookout for that. And also, I hope that this year was treating you way better than how it was for me. I hope y'all had a great 2025. I hope y'all have an even better 2026. And if you had a bad 2025 like myself, I really hope that 2026 is the year that everything turns around for you. And yeah, that's all I have to say about it. If you want to do all the stuff that every YouTuber tells you to do at the end of videos, you can do that if you want to. If you don't, that's fine because you have free will. You do whatever you want. With that being said, I will see y'all in 2026. Peace out, y'all.